Okay, 5:02. We'll go ahead and get started here. Sorry, I was running just a tad late. Having some pretty good weather going on right now with just some cold rain. I guess later we'll see if the weather guessers are right, and we'll have any snow. Okay, hope everybody's doing well. It's 20 February 2020. It's week 6 of LDR 360, right? Okay, Thursday 360. So let's take a look. You will have seen some add-ons here, not directly in Moodle, but in the announcement section. Week 6 this week, I wanted you to pick up on some non-financial measuring tools that help determine innovation and entrepreneurial performance. I didn't get a chance to look fully at your responses. I'll do that probably later tonight, if not tomorrow. I apologize, just pretty hectic at work, and I got a day behind. And how does an organization determine innovation and entrepreneurial performance? How would you determine if you are? That's what the book is trying to get at. They give you some ideas as you look towards measures of performance and measures of effectiveness. Remember, MOPS and MOS. Measures of performance is, are we doing things right? Okay, how are we doing on it? Measures of effectiveness are we doing the right things? Okay, and these are two critical principles to understand. Because remember, in everything that you do, no matter what the business or organization, if you are assigning tasks, then you're going to have some way of assessing whether those tasks have been completed or not. Imagine telling your kids, brush your teeth, drink water, go to bed on time, if nobody was around to assess whether or not they were doing those things. Okay, chances are you probably caught your kids not doing what you told them to do. Okay, I'm not going to time out my own daughter, but as a typical teenager, we have a couple occasions where we got to get after it. Anyway, and that's true for all of us. But again, the bottom line here is when you're talking innovation, well, how do you measure that? Okay, is it number of ideas? Because that really isn't a very good measure. That just tells you quantity, but doesn't tell you performance. On the other hand, you don't want to have it tied necessarily to productivity to a degree, because that might give you some false indicators as well. People tend to reinforce those things that will give them money. Classic case of in the nation of India. Let's see if I have that right. I think it was India. Anyway, had a problem with cobras. And so at the time, British government, who was colonizing India and had obviously the governmental control over it, basically put a bounty on a cobra. Okay, you would get paid X amount of dollars if you brought in a dead cobra snake. Okay, well, lo and behold, guess what people started doing? People started raising cobras specifically to kill and bring them in to collect the bounty. So what was happening is you had the perverse reverse of what the law was intended to do. Okay, and same thing here. Okay, in the case of, for example, Wells Fargo, they may have had some very innovative products to go along with their standard account services, but we'll never know because in a lot of ways, most of those accounts that were opened and purchased were fraudulently opened by members of the organization in order to collect the bounty. Okay. Anyway, so I'll be curious to see what you have to come up with. And then we're talking about Unilever okay, for your scenario, which is pretty good. And then look what happens. We're in week 7 already. Okay, so you've already got the rubric for the organization, innovation, leadership paper. I've also asked you to, as I pull this up, let me know what organization you plan to write on. Okay, and that way we neck it down, make it more of a case study, and it should help you. Now, most of you got it in. I'm still waiting on a couple of you. At this point, I've just about, I have to tell you, given up because I've asked too many times. All right, and you do it at your risk. The rest of you got yours in, and I appreciate it. And they're on the screen right now. Okay, so what'll happen is use this company, this organization, as your case study. Make your paper an evaluation, remembering LDR 340, and go ahead and write away. Make it a fun project. Okay, and I think you'll enjoy it. I think the questions are fascinating. An introduction to the study. So, as an example, you are writing on Tesla Motors or on women's lacrosse or whatever it is. Not women's lacrosse, but the lacrosse company, equipment company. Brief introduction. And again, the reason I tell you to get this into me is to help you out. Okay, so now that I know the company you're going to write on, I'm going to go in and do my own research. So when you do the introduction of your study, all you have to do is focus in on the innovation piece of this. Okay, you don't have to give me 3 to 4 pages of background that trace this company from birth to present day. Okay, so I have to brief introduction. Hey, this is an evaluation. I find Tesla Motors to be a highly innovative organization because of 1, 2, and 3, and then start list out 1, 2, and 3. That's all you have to do. Next paragraph. Definition of innovation. Okay, well, you're in luck because your text gives you definition of innovation on one of the pages, doesn't it? So just go in there and say, the history text tells us innovation is defined as ... Then you're going to move into your next paragraph, explain the importance of innovation for the organization or company that you picked. Why is it important for Tesla Motors to be innovative? Okay. Then go in why innovation enhances your organization's success. You see what I've done here? I didn't want you answering these questions in the generic. Innovation is important for organizations because that helps them keep a competitive edge. Okay, good. But I mean, anybody could say that. What I'd like you to do is go in and see if that's true for your organization. Okay, and it might have been you picked an organization that has a problem and needs to demonstrate some innovation. It's a chance for you to talk about. Okay, next paragraph is the importance of leadership in organizations relative to innovation. So again, some of the things we've talked about that you've covered in your book is how you, the leader, can go ahead and bring in innovation to your organization, how the leader can influence that. Okay, does leader influence innovation organization through who he or she hires? You bet. If we're hiring the wrong people, we're going to have a direct adverse effect on innovation. Okay, does the leader have an impact on the organization's ability to innovate in the way that he has structured the company? You bet. Okay, it may be a very rigidly hierarchical company that has multiple levels in an approval process before a new process or product is even considered for a global business plan or to be brought forth in the market, okay? If you got a more flat leveled organization, which you tend to do at your early stages, then it becomes a little easier. And in the end, and that's kind of what we're talking about too, but in the end, if a company has not spent any money on research and development, then it would be easy to say, well, they're not innovative, depending on whether or not they merge or acquire other businesses. Because that's really what it comes down to for your organization, is you either develop the innovation in-house through your research and development, which costs money, or you're in a situation where you could go out and acquire those smaller companies that are showing innovation and bring them into your realm, okay? Apple does this a lot. Somebody develops an app or a piece of equipment, and they'll acquire it. Not Procter and Gamble, but yeah, Procter and Gamble are always asking people new ideas on how to use old products, how to use Bounce laundry fabric softener. Okay, well, you know what you're doing is you're providing P&G some innovative ideas. Okay, and if you're doing that for free and that's what you want to do, then that's perfectly within the realm of your business. I would just caution you that you know, giving a company a free idea, you know, might come back to haunt you. You know, I can't help but think of the one guy who was excuse me, a long day. He was a nuclear scientist. Anyway, his boys were young, and he had bought them some squirt guns, some water guns. And he wasn't really happy with the mechanisms. They were fairly cheap. They didn't hold much water. And that water they did squirt didn't go very far. And so he decided to embark on an improvement process for his kids, okay, unrelated to his normal work. He develops his water gun that he eventually sells rights and understanding to for some royalties as well to Hasbro. Okay, the guy I'm talking about is the inventor of the Super Soaker. Okay, Super Soaker water guns are very popular and have made him, this nuclear scientist, in excess of $400 million. Okay, that's not too shabby. Okay, certainly would like to come up with an idea of my own for that. All right, and then you're going to conclude your paper, and that's all you got to do. Very simple. Make sure you look at the rubric. Okay, again, if you go up here into announcements, you'll see scoring rubric for week 7. Okay, here it is. Lacrosse Unlimited. I'm sorry, Miss Burke, I got that wrong. Lacrosse Unlimited. Okay. Anyway, so here's PDF file, and we just click on that and open it and see what comes up. All right, so let me do a new share here. Do the screen. Okay, and here is our rubric. Okay, and you got a total of 30 points to get 100%. The content alone is worth 21 points. All right, and it's broken into 5 sections. Educational objectives. Okay, did you meet the objectives that are set forth in the syllabus? Did you understand the concepts, meaning an in-depth understanding of other course issues, theories, principles, concepts? How well you used those, how well you got into those during the analysis and during the question discussion. Okay, so as I read through your discussion board posts, as I read through your assignments that you've turned in, and as I read through your paper here, do I get a clear understanding, an in-depth understanding of your ability to address course issues, theories, principles, and concepts, okay? If you use none in your paper, then it's going to be hard for me to assess you and give you a grade, isn't it? Okay, so a word to the wise, bring these things in to your paper as well as you can. I'm a firm believer of the 3x5 rule. 3 to 5 should be plenty, and you should be able to find with relative ease. Okay, then we get into critical thinking. Want to see what you think from an analysis perspective. Okay, did you break the issue down? The synthesis process is your ability of integrating all the relevant parts of the arguments, the issue, and any problems from various places. Okay, and then finally the evaluation. Okay, do you evaluate the aspect of innovation in that organization, and are you making insightful judgments based on the evidence that you have accumulated? Okay, and then we get on the back side of the paper. You're going to find organization structure is worth 4.5 points, and style and grammar is worth 4.5 points. Yeah, I'm going to open this up a little tad more. So you can see here's thesis. Remember, position statement thesis. Same thing. It is a single, clear, eloquent statement of the central argument. What is it you're arguing? How are you going to get there? Okay? And then support. How well you supported your response. Okay? Did you say that, hey, all I need to do is communicate more clearly with my subordinate? All right, that may need some more support. You can almost hear me saying, well, what then? Okay? Anybody could say, I need to improve communication. But this is where we want to get into how. How are you going to do that? Okay? And then structure. You've got an organized paper. Do you have an introduction, a body, conclusion? The normal stuff. And connections and transitions to be able to transition from one paragraph to another. And have you done that seamlessly? Okay? Then style and grammar. Again, I am not an English major, but there's spell check on my machine. I'm assuming you've got it. Okay? But it goes down beyond just spelling things right. Making sure you understand proper use of grammar. Make sure you understand tone of what you write. Right? Use of rhetoric. Okay? Is it useful language you're using, or is it not really helping or hurting? Okay? And then finally, mechanics of punctuation. Okay? I am not an English major, but I could generally figure out where a comma goes. And no, I am not an Oxford comma guy. That said, if that's the right way to do it, then that's the way to do it. All right. So you got this rubric. I'll close this one out and see if I can open up the other one. What am I doing here? I'm doing this way too hard. I'm sorry. Let me get out of this. There was no need for me to do it that way. Okay. So here we are. And we want to get into home. And we want to get into announcements. All right. So if you look at announcements, you'll see that scoring rubric 7 right there, and scoring rubric 8. Hopefully these went through. Yeah, so they did. Okay. So in week 8, you've already done in week 7 your organization innovation. Now in week 8, we're going to flip it around and bring it back to personal. Okay. So your ability to master educational objectives as it relates to you personally. Okay. Your understanding of concepts, your ability to analyze whatever requires, your ability to synthesize what the bosses are saying and why a certain project can or cannot be done. I brought in a box tonight. I suppose I would have been asked, hey, UPS, what did that shipping run you? Well, I have Amazon Prime, so I generally get quote unquote free shipping. In this particular case, they screwed up my order and they had to do it twice. So somebody was interested in going in there and doing a small little statue or a photo of the flag raising on Mount Serpachi as a joke. Anyway, they didn't get accomplished. So my hat's off to the security guards. All right. So as we go through, you're going to see this is graded out, not unlike your personal invitation. And this one is coming a little last. Give you a little extra week of understanding what's going on. Okay, so we got evaluation, synthesis, analysis. So anyway, you suppose we could bring in a couple more? I guess we could try, couldn't we? I don't think. Where did my, you need to give me my Andy Williams songbook back. Okay. All right. So Andy Williams, prolific writer, performed an amazing amount of times, and really complemented well with other guests of that year, that season. Okay. All right. And I've told people, if you can make a living out of playing money, particularly somebody else's, then more power to you. I'm very respectful of that. Me, I can't play a lick. All right. Organization and structure worth 4.5 as a style crammer. Okay. Again, you don't want to be lazy. Okay, so we get in there and we see again organization, how it organizes the paper. Is the thesis clear? Are the paragraphs got a starting and an end? Okay, are people telling the story the right way? These things will come to you naturally. Okay, but as you're going through, just maybe nod your head. Okay, you got a lot of people here who are very impressed with what you did. All right. Got a little distracted there, sorry. So when we talk about thesis and support, remember, your position statement is your thesis. Okay, what you're arguing, how you're going to argue it. Okay. Support comes into that evidence you use to support your statement. So if you tell me that the Herzberg's factors are worthless and have no application in the real world, then I'm going to have to come back and ask you to show it to me, because I pass a cop almost every morning who's out fixing the come-on schedule. And he's a hoot. It's just hilarious talking to him. Nothing phases the guy. All right, again, syntax, construction, connections, and transitions. What's policy on originality? Okay, tone, rhetoric, and mechanics and punctuation. Punctuation. Those are saying so. Anyway, I'm gonna have to address that, I guess. Didn't notice it. All right. So that's where we're at. I'll know that you got it by letting me know. And okay. Good. All right. Well, thanks for hanging in there with me on this. And let's take a look real fast at what else I might have here. All right, so we're going to go through this kind of quickly. This was kind of funny, I thought, given Daytona race flags. Okay, that finishing flag there in the middle is one of the funniest things I've ever thought. Okay. Scenario studies we talked about. All right, so again, here's a page out of your LDR 340 text. All right, how to do an evaluation. Okay, first thing is we're using the prove and state model. So that there is on the left. First thing, evaluation criteria. What criteria are you using to make your evaluation? Think it through. Okay, if I'm trying to decide if if I'm making mistakes as a head coach, and you don't like that because obviously it costs you money, then you're going to need to make an evaluation based on my ability to protect the football compared to others who may be able to do it very well. Okay, and that's just one small factor. Gets back into everything: knuckles, wrists, arms, eggs, ankles, collarbone, sciatic nerve. I mean, you name it, this out there. All right. Bottom line evaluations, okay? Many will say that the most important sentence of a case is the statement of bottom line judgment. What you have to remember is the conclusion about the evaluation has to be expressed. Okay, it isn't just a up and back leadership. All right. Oh yeah, here's okay, so I thought for a second this was our super soaker guy. This guy, John Osher, is inventing the spin brush. He puts candy in there first, and then you can go back and buy a refill. Pretty fun. Milk that comes in a square jug instead of a curvy one. Makes it more efficient. Okay, trimming technique. There are 6 types. Okay, be careful in the text. they use a type of tripping foundation that I, quite frankly, have never used. So just gonna have to kind of learn this together, I guess. Number 5 is all right. Trimming techniques, product planning, development process, and the idea development process. Awesome. Good stuff here. All right. Sure, I don't have them upside down. All right. Let's take a hard look here at your chapters. Take a hard look at chapter 10, future impact. Okay, you're going to find a lot of funny things. You're going to find things that aren't so funny. They're pretty fascinating. Ideas like this that are almost brilliant. So we'll see. All right, I'm going to let you go because I'm having a rough day here as well. Been long. And appreciate everybody's attention, hanging in there. And any questions, let me know, okay?